and I haven't played it in forever. So let's play The Sims. Um, yeah. So I feel like I'm an in-depth player. I've played for a long time. I have my certain people I like to play with. I am a gay male, so I really like playing with certain characters. He is one of my favorites. His name is Vincent. He has more of a dark goth vibe that I really vibe with. Um, and overall, I just really like playing with him.
Oh.
Let's give him a partner.
Zacabra.
He's also a wizard,
Bonkers for pa.
but he's super nice. Just gonna add a new sim in
Holy
general.
Nine Mocosa. Moisto Quopa.
Hey,
Minimize a few
Twimpalinga.
times.
Imbo Alaba. Tinawa
I feel like I could have
Fungi.
walked with that one.
Hey, Shulipra Zig. Yambala Zig. Natsa Jabin. Obi. Missakoy Poliva.
Okay, I think we can work with
Marlene
this one.
Quimba. Hebony Sycophus. Oh, Imbo Alaba. Yumbala Tafloni. Zakini Mixlin.
I don't think I want mean.
Ebony Sycophus. Oh, Imbo Alaba.
I'm realizing no one can see anything.
Zakini Mixlin.
I don't think I want mean. Okay. Oh, now y'all can actually see things.
Oh.
I don't know what I want to do with this person. I think I want to kind of make him the light
Julius
version of his husband. I think. Also, it is quiet. Let me turn on music.
Yeah.
I usually have my own music going on. Apply. So I think I'm gonna go with preppy for this one, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of like that one. I don't really like these. Okay. I don't know if I'm vibing with this hair either. And it is an aggressive yellow. I don't like that. I do like this blonde. I don't think I've ever used this particular color. I usually stay with the browns up here. I usually have fun colors unless it's for the girls. Facial hair. I do like this one.
Oh.
Alright. And that's just one everyday look, so I'm gonna do another one. I spent an insane amount of time just kind of going through this. And I do have a lot of these packs that Sims has come out with over the years. It's a miracle I still have money some days. My favorite packs are Life and Death, and I like the vibe of Love Struck a lot. I don't know if I've appreciated too much of the actual gameplay of it, but I do really like the style that Love Struck has given, if that makes sense. Okay, I like that. So formal. I don't like a lot of the formal looks that Sims has put out, but at the same time, I don't care for a lot of these anyway. I think we're just gonna go with classic black look. I really like the black, and I get he's supposed to be the lighter version of Vincent, but yeah. What is this? The random generation that Sims has is so crazy that like it's almost unbelievable. Also, I doubt my sim is going to be doing a lot of working out. That's usually never my playstyle, unless they become like obsessed with it, but it typically doesn't happen. So yeah, we'll do this one. Sleep. I do not like neon. So my Sims tend to not like neon. Okay, that seems appropriate for a gay, middle, early life something. So it's a bit too much. If he were gonna go to a party, he definitely want to dress up. Okay. I do like that. I don't know where this hat came from, and I don't like it. So we're gonna remove that. But I do like the vibe otherwise. Swimwear, I'm okay with that. Okay, so that's not a cohesive look. He definitely doesn't have abs, so I don't think a crop would look good on him. I think that looks too similar to his everyday look. So maybe of a hipster vibe. Nothing's calling out to me yet. Okay, I do like this shirt. And then we're gonna go with shorts. I want something nice and modern. I think these shorts could go well if... Okay, that works. Oh, I have never seen these shoes before. These are actually kind of cute. Okay. Alright. And then cold weather. I usually live on plots of land that don't have cold weather. Or at least weather that constitutes for making a full thing, so okay. So I think that's good for me. Vincent, he's one of my pre-mades that I use all the time. And then I just randomize this like 10,000 times till I find one I like. Okay, I like Maverick. So Vincent has a soulmate aspiration, which I really like. So for Maverick, if he's kind of the opposite, I don't want to make him like mean, but I think I want him to focus a little bit on we're not starting with like a young person, so maybe not university. Oh, I got new ones in here. That's kind of cool. Well, if he's macabre, that means he would be life. So let's do... Yes, I think he'd like gardening, which means we probably want to put that in his lifestyle. Hobby. Again, if he's macabre, he should be like life and like I want them opposites, but also they like each other at least a little bit. So I think he's gonna love the outdoors. Do I want to make him into a fairy? Like a magician fairy hybrid thing? I think I kind of do. I bought the fairy pack like when it came out, and I haven't really touched it since. To be honest, I haven't really touched Sims in a while. So I think I'm gonna go with it. I don't know what male fairies are supposed to have. I don't want to paint them, to be quite honest, but I do want these to be lighter. I don't like the black in here. Okay. That's actually kind of pretty.
Frump yabya. Oh, Pumbira.
Okay. What kind of... Okay, so we're in the fairy pack and change it by nature. I haven't gotten adventure weights. Some of these are kind of... I don't know what that sound was. Oh, it's my good sis. Hello, Stephanie. I haven't really played this pack in a while, so I don't know what's here. And if he's in fairy form for his everyday look, what do I want? Oh, I don't know if I like this. Okay. Okay, that just looks silly on him. And then, or not. I can't take that one seriously. Ooh, I really like this one. Okay. I can really dig this. I actually really like that. Athletic. If he's sleeping in his wings, I'd be really shocked.
Oh, Pumbira.
If he is swimming in his wings, I'd be really shocked, to be quite honest. Hot weather, cold weather. Okay. So I think I'm good with this. I might edit a little bit later as I get into gameplay. But we need to edit relationships. That's their spouse. I want them wholesome, at least for now. And then I think I'll leave them up to them to figure out the whole dynamic. Okay. We're gonna play. I do not like the poses that ever comes out of here. I think I need to mod it a little bit more. I already have mods on here. I took out most of my mods, if you know, you know, but I still have MCC Command Center, so maybe I figure it out. Alrighty, so I usually just select spraying at first. I don't know. Let's explore the worlds. I'm just gonna cheat my way through building whatever I want. I haven't explored a lot of these options. Like, I didn't know that there's a fairy console. But I don't think any of these are speaking to me. I do absolutely love Ravenwood. I think Ravenwood is one of my favorites out of everything. I do slightly like living in Morningvale just because it has access to, I think the Lake of Life. I forget what it's called exactly. So I do like living here. I haven't ever really lived in Whispering Glen. It's not something that's also called out to me either. Mopey Manor, I've lived in before. I kind of redone it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Mystical Crossroads. I don't want to build a pool, but I think, it's close enough to the lake where I don't know if it helps anything, but it's close enough to me. And then it's more macabre for Vincent, but I think I can do something very wise. So we're going to live there. Let's see how long this loads. That took no time at all. Thank God. Okay, so obviously we need to add some money. But
My crib.
I never had to put in testing cheats.
You.
Okay. I start with a budget of about 100,000. It just allows me to kind of build when I need to. The only thing I don't like about Morningvale is the lighting. Lighting can be very beautiful in this game. I have a fairly decent computer, so I've been able to get some really beautiful lighting effects. But since Morningvale is kind of a grimmer area, it doesn't light the way I necessarily want it. And I just went out of build mode. Alright, so I kind of look for inspiration around the others. I wouldn't say I'm a master builder, but I'm definitely no amateur. So I do try to match it with the surroundings for the most part, and try to give it the same vibe, at least on the exterior. So I'm seeing a lot of brick, which I really like. I kind of really like some of these windows. I don't like the cut house. So let's figure this out. How I start, I kind of figure out where the road's at. It's never correct. I don't ever assume people should be going through here. So I'm going to delete that mailbox. I'm going to add a mailbox later anyway. I don't like the standard ones that come with the house. I do believe the entrance should be somewhere on this road. Where on this road, I kind of let it... I let the game tell me where to put it. So, and then I'm going to want a porch too. So let's figure that out. So if I have a porch, I'm going to at minimum need 2 squares, and this requires a lot of math on my end. It requires about 3 squares wide, 2 to 3 depending on my mood, and then I'm going to want it about here. So if I want it here, that means my house should be pushed back a little bit further. Okay, and then I'm going to map out the general shape. Now, Vincent and whatever I just named the other one, they don't have a kid yet. However, I do think on how I will be able to expand the family, and that is a little big for me. I think my biggest breakthrough with gameplay, as I've played this game over more than a decade now, is learning how to make smaller houses, and that's been really fun. But they still eventually will need to expand, so whether that's making sure they have enough room for a second floor, or they have enough room to add on towards the back with like a hallway, to me that's really important. So that's where I kind of focus on when I'm building. And then I'm going to add the porch, and I think, yeah, it's going to be about here. And adding porches is really fun to me. It's a little bit difficult if you've never done it before. It took me a hot minute to learn how to do it. What kind of stairs do I want? Everything around here is kind of bleak and gray, which is okay. I'll get over it. So, okay. 3 sounds good. So what I'm going to do, you take the sledgehammer. I did not say hammer correctly. And then I kind of just, ta-da. All right. And then you are going to want to, I should have gotten rid of those. My bad, my bad. You need spandrels to make it look, I think, a little bit decent. I think once you start learning how to play with some of these tools, it really elevates your gameplay experience. So I'm going to use spandrels. I'm going to use columns. I actually really do like a lot, whereas I don't like some of the choices from other packs. Life and Death, I think, offers a lot of my vibe. I'm a macabre person as it is, and then you just kind of add in some of the vibes that this offers. It's like chef's kiss to me. So if you're gonna buy any pack, I always recommend Life and Death. It's one of my favorites. So I'm gonna add a fence around it, the porch, and then just delete where you need it to. So I don't need, I know it's going to delete anything above. It didn't this time. Perfect. All right, so we added the porch. I'm going to need the roof eventually because, oh, there it is. You're just not seeing it, I guess. Because there will be a roof that goes on here, like an actual roof, and it's going to look really nice. In order to learn how to build, I think, for Sims, I definitely had to study actual like layout plans and think critically on how houses are built. For example, my own house, I've looked at it and I was like, okay, well, this is how my house is laid out. This is how my parents are. And it's been really fun learning how to build houses, at least in Sims. Don't ask me to build an actual house. That'd be terrible. Okay, so again, I'm kind of letting the other houses kind of dictate slightly on how to build my own house. You see, like this one has a red roof. The rest of them have black, but a lot of them just have like brick. So that's why I kind of went with this little brick stair. Also, I think it's really cute. Foundations, we're going to do something similar. That doesn't match too much. That doesn't match more. I wish the team would make these match a little bit better. Especially with stone. I swear I can never find stone that truly matches. Okay, so, and then for the wall patterns, masonry, let's see. I don't like the rundown ones that they give you, so I am going to go with a darker stone too, but I think I'm just gonna keep it simple, keep it light for now. And then let's add a door. So since this lot doesn't have a lot of lighting per se, compared to other neighborhoods, this is a darker neighborhood. I try to keep windows as much as I can. And I do love a good modern look too. So modern doors, to my knowledge, typically have windows. So I'm going to keep going with that. I'm always drawn to this one particularly, so I'm going to keep going with that. I don't necessarily love that door frame for this gameplay though. I wish I had a dark door frame like this, but a white door. That's blue. I don't know if black is going to be too black. We're going to put it there for now. And then we're going to do our roof. Well, first I think we need to figure out the layout, at least of the first floor. So how I like to go about it is I figure out where my first floor is at, kind of figure out the layout, and then do I need a second floor? Most likely I probably will. So but I figure out the first floor to start off with. So I know I have this wonderful porch here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to block this off. This is like my entryway. There is going to be a window here. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but there is going to be a window. And this is going to be my living room. I think I'm going to have windows facing out. I think the TV may be right here. So I'm going to expand this room a little bit. Just maybe I want some bookcases in here or something. I would prefer to have a fireplace, but lately I've been I've been struggling with figuring out how to use a fireplace, but also have windows in the right places. So I'll figure it out later, but for now, this is the living room. And then if I think of a normal living room, I think of, there might be a bathroom around here, but there also might be a dining room. So I'm going to have a simple toilet room, I think. I'm not going to have a full bath, but a simple toilet right here. And this can jet out from here. So there'd be door here, I think. I have to have a kitchen somewhere. Maybe my dining room's back here. Ooh. This is where I start to run into issues. Give me 1 second. I heard someone in chat. I heard something. I don't know what that notification was. Alright, let's go back to building. Alright, so what I'm going to do... I'm definitely going to need a second floor, so I'm already going to put one in. I don't like a lot of these stairs options, to be quite honest, even if it with different like colors and skins. I'm not a fan of many of them. I just don't like how it's set up. Inside, I think I want to go with more of a modern feel, but it can't be too expensive because then when taxes come into this game, they tax me into oblivion. Let's do an unremarkable staircase. It doesn't have to be anything too fancy. I do like this one. I wish I wish we can paint the stairs how we want. For example, I really like these stairs, but if in how I have it in my own personal house, the top would be black and the under would be white, and it's so pretty, and I wish I could do that here. Well, I want function and aesthetic sims, but that's okay. Okay. So if my sims are going out, they would be reaching this stair area. So in fact, I think this might be the kitchen instead, but I don't like the idea of a kitchen right by a restroom, to be quite honest. So what if I make this the restroom? Okay. And then I can put maybe the door here. I can put the door anywhere I want. It's not going to be a full bath. It's going to be like a half bath. And then that's going to be a large kitchen or a large dining room. A little bit of both. But what I can... I think I just dug myself into a hole here. No. We are going to take this out. We're going to make the living room a little bit bigger, which I think might help me in my quest for a fireplace. Whether that fireplace blows up at my face, we'll see. Then I think... I don't know how I'm going to have access to the living room. I think this will be the dining room. I'll have the dining room here. And then I think I'll have the kitchen here. I like a bigger kitchen. I mean, in life too, but you don't want to make it too big. And what I like to do, especially with stairs, because when we go up a level, you see, if I push it any further, like there's only one spot. So what I do to combat this, I usually like to put something about right under the stairs. It's usually like a reading nook. It kind of elevates the area and allows me to have something cool, I say. So right now, we have a bathroom, we have a large living room, which will go into the dining room, which will go into the kitchen. Now we have to figure out the archways. I don't know if I want a double archway. Here I do. I'll color them later if I want. I don't like these archways being too big because, for example, with the kitchen, it's going to limit the amount of counters I can have. And then awkward placement is the thing that happens as well, of like I start to not be able to do certain things. Place them a little bit away from the wall. It looks better somehow. I don't know how, but it just does. So I think we got a good first floor going on. And now where do we want the restroom? Which is surrounded by walls. I don't think I've ever had that happen. I'm just going to put a white door, maybe. We'll see. We're going to put a door there. Eventually, what's going to go in here is a little nook reading area, maybe. Make it a little bit cozy. And if you're wondering, yes, I spent hours on simply home building. It is insane. I do put walls up around there. We're going to do that. And then I am going to add banisters. That said iron. I don't like that too much. We'll do the banisters that we have outside. Bit of continuity. Continuity, I should say. So, okay, now we get the whole third floor. There's only 2 of them. So, for now, I think what I'm going to do, and this is kind of built in the continuity plan of, so when they start having kids, how do you expand this house? Well, what I would probably do is I would put it like a hallway here and expand out this way a little bit. Or maybe put one here, get rid of the nook, and expand this way. Options are endless. Until the kids get older, because they're not going to be able to climb stairs. So they're going to have the largest bedroom. Full path is going to be connected up here. And this is going to be their office. Okay. So master, bedroom, office. I swear I can never make the bathrooms big enough, but then also they feel too big. I don't know how to explain it. And then we're going to have a guest bedroom, I think, here. And then a laundry room. And then we got a full... We got a full thing going on, I think. So what I'm going to do now is I will start adding roofs to make it porch-like. So that goes down. I think we might add a window up here, but I want the porch at least done. So, and then we can drag this out a little. That's a little bit... I think that looks fine for now. And then So we can get kind of creative with however we want it. I kind of kept it in a square box, which I don't know if I 100% like. But we can mix it up. So it's going to make this ridiculously big. We're going to slim it down. See, I just simply do not like that. That builds no character in my opinion. So we might add another one just for the fun of it right here. This probably goes against a lot of like actual building codes, maybe. I don't know. But it looks so boring otherwise. Okay. And then... So now we just gave this some shape at least. Does it make sense? I don't know, but it makes it a little less boring. Or what we could do a little bit of as well. I'm pretty sure there might be people screaming if they watch this a little bit later of like, what are you doing? I know professional house builder, but I get so sick and tired of my builds. Look, I literally just made that big square again. But like, I know by means of professional house builder, and you build your Sims house to how you want it. But I get tired of looking at the same things all the time. I'll see. There's something that can be done about it. I don't know what I'm inspired by right now, but it's definitely not this. And then we're going to add our trim to the end. Roof trims. We are going to make this a little bit of a tannish to let it... That is not matching. That is too white. We're going to do that one. And then roof patterns, since they're free, and it does help with a little bit of the power production, I do add solar shingles. It might not match the vibe of the house 100%, but it does help with the energy bills. And we're all for helping the earth, I guess, here. Maybe. I don't know. But that's what we're going to do. So now the outside looks a bit boring. Now we have to add windows. So we're surrounded by a lot of browns and stone. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to match that as much as possible, I think. So let's see. And this is where I think I will filter towards the pack. I don't want everything to be revolving around this pack, but at least for the outside, I do try to keep a common continuity within the neighborhood. So what do we want to do here? I don't know quite yet. As I said, like right here in the porch, I love having a big window. To me, it just looks really cool. And I think it puts everything together. And I'm now realizing this area doesn't have a lot of nice pack doesn't have a lot of floor to ceiling windows. At least that we can. Oh, I'm not mad at that actually. I think that looks too out of place, especially since that's like a bay window. But that could go here, I think. I do like that in theory, but maybe not there. But I do love this one here. So let's see if I can't try to color match this a little bit more to the vibe we're going with. That matches perfectly. So we're going to put that there. I don't know if it's lining up the best. We're going to say that's good. Okay, so we got one window, and now I don't really have to worry about does it line up with everything in the top. I don't like anything being too matchy-matchy, but they do need to line up somewhat. Okay. So I'm going to add, I think, that bay window. Let's match that a little bit more as well. That is way too bright for our application. I don't like that either. Okay, I like this one. So, and then I can put a book. It seems so empty on the bottom, so this is where you use plants to your advantage. Like, just put something at the bottom of it. Now it feels a little less dense, and I might turn off collision just for these bushes, but for now we're going to keep it. Okay, so this is what it looks like inside, and I'm not mad at it. So let's keep it going. So above here, we're going to need more windows. And this is where I think I start to pigeonhole myself, because in the same room, I think you decently want to attempt to keep windows alike. Okay, so if I were living up here, those are beautiful on the outside or inside, by the way. I do love that. What would make sense? Okay, and what also brings in light? Again, this neighborhood is very much lacking in natural light half the time, so definitely have to be mindful of that. And normally, or when I first started playing, I did auto windows, but as I've gotten, I wouldn't say better at playing, but as I've started playing a bit more, auto windows just typically cause me to do so much more work. Like, this doesn't make sense. These probably should be in together a little bit more. So should these. This kind of works, but you have to delete that one, because it wouldn't make sense to have a window here. Okay. And this one's way too close. You don't want anything too close to the corner. It starts to look weird. And that kind of makes sense. It's a little off kilter inside, but I can live with it. So now we have to go downstairs. What are we going to use down here? That is a good question that I don't know yet. I'm going to use a taller window for this again, I think. Is that going to look too weird? I think it will. So and if we match this to the wall? See, now this one doesn't match as much. That is very frustrating. So I guess we kind of go with what we have in the other areas too, which isn't my favorite. I don't like being too matchy-matchy with windows. Okay. Okay, and then I think I'm going to do 2 windows here. Okay, so now building these windows. Actually, they kind of lined up really nicely. I'm kind of impressed. It's kind of matchy-matchy, but if you look at it as a whole, it kind of makes sense. The only thing that isn't too nice, and we can't do anything about it, is that the stairs is here. So there's like this whole blank wall here that doesn't look nice, but I think I might just cover it up with some plants that grow onto the side of the house, and maybe cover it with some roses too, so we can hide the fact that that's an empty area if we put like foliage around it. That is one of my favorite things to do. So like, let's put, what trees are around here? Pine. Okay, I feel less bad about putting this here. So let's just put some like trees around here. And then it's kind of going to fool us. Not really. At least people who have built it. It's going to fool us that, you know, something's there, even if there's nothing. Okay, so we got the windows. We're getting a lot of the bases here, which is great. So now let's start actually decorating, or getting a little bit more of the interior finished. So out here, I'm going to continue with stone. I'm going to try to find a decent match at least. I think that works. And now I'm going to go to night because I have a porch. I love having a porch. You need to have lighting on your porch. There's a reason this takes me forever to complete, because I really think about a lot of these small details. So if I were coming up into this house, you know you need a light. Which light? In this particular neighborhood, and this is one of my favorite pieces, I think, of the pack and maybe the game, is this little lantern right here. It is so beautiful. It's old-timey, and I don't know. I would pay to have this in real life in my own house. So I'm going to put it here. I'm not a big fan of the door as much anymore. It seems a bit too modern and off-putting compared to the rest, but we're going to keep it for now. Excuse me. Now we're going to go inside and so I do think this needs to be a little bit of a chandelier. Also, this does need to have an entry to the living room here. It would make no sense if there wasn't. So let's do some lighting in here. I think there should be a chandelier, but we don't have too high of ceilings. Some of them are probably not going to work, but I think this one will. And it also does fit into our theme of macabre. Who is furnishing this house? Like, I do have to think we have both Vincent and Dawson. I think, no, it's Vincent and Dawson. I don't know what we named the other character. I'm not going to lie. I play with Vincent, I think, every time I play, and I make him a new person every time. Like a new partner. So I don't know what I want here. It has to be enough to illuminate the area. And I know people are going to say, don't do overhead lights, blah, 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 blah. It just makes sense here. But overhead lights, at least in this area, are just... I don't know. I kind of like that. And I typically hate gold. If you know me in real life, gold is not my favorite. I think gold might work here. These lights are very warm. We're going to keep it. So I'm going to put this back in the morning or afternoon somewhat. And we're going to start just laying down our floors. So I really like to start off with wood in many places, and then I start changing. This is a more macabre household, so they're going to have a lot of dark wood everywhere. And what did we say? This was master bedroom, office. Office is going to have hardwood floors. Laundry room is going to have dark wood floors, and so no, they're going to have carpet in the rooms, but we're going to keep it for now. Okay, so and I do tile in bathroom, kitchen, bathrooms and kitchen, yes. And then for the walls, for now, we're going to keep it pure expressions. So I apply this white paint everywhere, and I go back and change it. But if I forget to change it, or at least I know the Sims aren't going to have, there's like a status of like it's an unfinished house. So I just apply this straight off the bat before anything. So if I decide whatever, white's fine, or I get tired, I'm just going to, it'll be fine. They're not going to complain to me. So I don't know where to start right now. I think I'm going to start with the kitchen, because I think logistically it's going to be the hardest. Because it's still a small kitchen for me. So I like having overhead lighting here, but it's a specific overhead light. I really like these hanging shelves here. So we're going to do them. I'm going to select the medium one, I think, for now. Okay. Let's go to counters. So we have a darkish floor, and the kitchen might get an update. Okay, so if I can't figure out counters, let's figure out the floors. I really love kitchen tile, like just in general, but certainly love it here. I love this in real life. I don't like it particularly for floor here. The Harrington bone tile, this is also a wall tile. I don't know who they're trying to fool that people. If you have this in your home for a floor tile, be my guest, but it is not my favorite. So I think, and this is a more macabre, I don't like the vampire ones either. Yeah, I don't like that either. These are some of my favorites. I'm not necessarily a fan of the blue right away. This reminds me of Grandma's Kitchen, which if I was doing a cozy playstyle, this would definitely be one of my tops. The Tamari tile, I actually don't mind this. So I'm going to see if I can't have color in here that I like. I do like the green. Actually, let me turn off grid lines. I tell you, turning off grid lines definitely helps if you want to see, like, does this floor look decent without it? I like it, so I'm going to style my kitchen around the green. So either I can do a neutral counter, such as white, black, maybe a little bit of brown. We'll see. My favorite counters of all time in this game, again, and this is why I recommend this pack if you were to buy any pack, is the Life and Death pack. Because they come out with these amazing colors for the counters. And all the appliances that come with it as well. So I'm going to my auto counters off. That's annoying. Okay, so perfect. So now we just really have a plank. So what am I going to do? And again, this is a very tiny kitchen. So I had to figure out how I want to place everything. And I'm not too sure how I want to do that yet. Because I think I'm going to make these archways smaller. I say that because if I make them just a tad bit smaller, I'm going to be able to fit a fridge right next to the entryway. And save me a little bit of space. So that's what we're going to do. And now if you see, it leaves me with a good gap to put something here or here, which is where my fridge is going to go. Again, the Life and Death pack offers some wonderful fridge options. And I'm going to put the fridge there. It looks beautiful. It looks refined. It looks elegant. And it's one of my favorite things to add. Doing that also allows me to put a counter here, which will be nice because I think I'm going to put a sink and a dishwasher here. So all of my kitchens always come with dishwashers, mainly because I wanted a dishwasher growing up. I didn't have one until I bought my own house, and my Sims live vicariously through me. Or I live vicariously through my Sims. Okay, I really like that. I really do. And then if I add some cabinets, it's going to look beautiful. Typically, in what I really like to do is I put counters by the windows. So you are looking out while you're cooking. However, it doesn't make sense for this house. At least in my opinion. So that's okay. We're going to keep going. We are going to now replace this for the stove. Now this is where I can change things a little. So this kitchen witch stove, which is honestly super cute to me, this does work off the grid, which I definitely appreciate. The one for life and death does not work off the grid. Do I ever expect them to, go off the grid? No, but just as in real life, I also forget to pay my bills in The Sims, so that might be helpful. Also, the green here does match a lot, and I do like this rustic stove that coincides along with the rest of my modern house. So we're gonna do that, and then we're going to pair it with, again, the life and death pack hood, and this just looks refined and elegant. I really like how this kitchen is coming together. Cabinets, they also come out with cabinets, so we're going to do that as well. My auto counters are on, so I don't have to worry about too much right now. So if you know how to play The Sims decently, you start to learn that maybe auto counters aren't your best friend, because you can make things look nicer without them. So, for example, there is an end piece, but the game's not going to recognize that you need an end piece, so you kind of have to figure it out. Someone just chat me or something. I'm hearing things. I don't know what I'm hearing. My bad, y'all. I'm hearing things that's not The Sims, so we're gonna go back. Either someone's watching. I don't know what things sound anymore are supposed to mean. Right end piece. Perfect. So for the most part, I think I have everything I want here. What I like to do sometimes, but I don't have the room for it here, is I do like these tall cabinets. If I have a bigger kitchen to work with, I definitely use these cabinets a lot, but it just doesn't work in this context. All right, so now we have the floor, we have the cabinets, we have a functional kitchen. But what I would really prefer, at least design-wise, is to have a black backsplash here and maybe up to the fridge. I think it's going to elevate the space a little bit more, and I'm going to do that with tile. I'm not a biggest fan of the tile options in this game. However, I realized as I was going into this game session that I deleted some of my more favorite mods, because there's mods that definitely are not allowed on here. Full transparency, so I deleted them. I kept MCC. Okay, but going back to the game, I'm not a biggest fan of the tiles, and I don't want to keep buying packs because, quite frankly, I'm tired of it, and I'm trying to tell EA, along with I think a lot of us, for the love of God, release Sims 5. I've been playing this game since it came out, and I think 2014. I'm gonna go with this green tile, by the way. I think it's cute. But I've been playing this game since I was in high school. I am now married. I have a full-time job. I love The Sims 4. I personally like this more than the other games. I've tried to revisit Sims 3. I've tried to revisit Sims 2, and nothing captures my attention as much as Sims 4, to be quite honest. Also, this just looks really cute. If I were my Sim, I'd love to live. Like, this is beautiful. maybe a little too close for comfort with the thing here, but if they were trying to reach pots and pans, that would make sense. Also, they are not taller than this fridge, so it makes sense. It's cute. I'm going to go with it. But as I was saying, I've been playing this game for such a long time. I need something new. Okay, so if this is green, I'm going to try to figure out what else I need in here. So also always put a fire alarm if you have the money for it. Again, I'm playing with cheats, so we're just going to do that. And while I'm here with my alarms and electronics, we are going to add some of the other electronics in, such as the burglar alarm, because if you have not played this game in for a long time, they did finally add burglars back into the game, which I've experienced them 2 to 3 times now. It's fun. I did miss it. There are some elements of gameplay that I do miss from older games, such as the burglars, but they came back. There is one thing I do wish they would bring back from earlier games, and this might be a very niche thing for some people, but I used to play Sims 2 on the PS2, and they had some of my favorite furnishings in that game, especially because the aliens definitely, I wouldn't say were a sole focus in the game, but they had a lot of alien tech in there, which The Sims 4 just does not have, nor did Sims 3. Sims 3 had Welcome to the Future or Back to the Future or something like that. But it was not as cool, at least to my knowledge, as the things in Sims 2 PS2. That's just my 2 cents, so. Alright, so the dining room. There is only 2 of them. And I do not like hosting parties as much, but I do keep a rather full table just in case. Most of my Sims gameplay truly has a multi-generational gameplay. I have multiple kids, then they have grandkids, and they just start inheriting things, and so I do keep a longer table just in case, especially since I start every one of my Sims with $100,000. I start them with $100,000 because I pretend it's like inheritance, so they're using that inheritance to build a house and get their life started. And then I use MCC Command Center to kind of fake their degrees. Because it doesn't make any sense for these people, Dawson and whoever this is, to start from 0. They're young adults, so they need to be starting from somewhere. So in my mind, they've gone to college, they've dated, they should have skills. I don't know why young adults don't have anything. I think there should be an option when starting the game to give them skills. Okay, so this is black. This is a very black room so far. So I'm going to lighten it up with the wood. I think I really like this wood as it is, but we're going to lighten up. I don't think I like that. We're going to go with the brown. In my personal life, I do love black, and I will wear black every single day. It is my favorite color. However, I do recognize that it's not everyone's cup of tea, so it's not my cup of tea for all my Sims, because my Sims are not me. So, okay. We brightened it up a little bit. I'm not a fan of keeping this just pure white. This white paint, as I said, is a base paint until I find something else that I like. So, it also has no trim. And that bothers me. Like, a lot of this just does not have trim. And I do wish the team would, like the Sims team, would allow us to, like, put trim on ourselves, if that makes sense. Okay, so if they're eating in here, they have a brown floor. I don't want to make this house too green, because that is not how I envision these people to be. I don't like the blue trim. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay. I don't like this everywhere, but I definitely do like it. So, okay. So this is where I think we will keep the white in other places. So plain but pretty is different than pure expressions. Plain but pretty does have trim board on it, which makes it look a little bit nicer. Ta-da! So what am I going to put here? I think I'm going to keep the saucer lights. I'm not the biggest fan of saucer lights, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. How do I want to decorate this dining room? Well, there's miscellaneous decorations. Let's do a wall phone. Which, I miss those days, I'm not going to lie. Oh, cookbook. And part of my gameplay is, it's a bit chaotic. I will go through this and figure out what I like as I'm going through. And if I'm like, oh, this would look cute in the other room, I'm going to put it in the other room, to be quite honest. Okay. I've never seen this, nor do I think I'll ever use it, but that's kind of fun. I'm trying to find little niches. Okay. So I do love plants. Eventually I'll add many more plants to this gameplay. But plants are a focal point in a lot of my gameplay, so I think a good plant in here would be cute. I like this little geometric one. And we'll see if I can find candles. Okay. Plants and candles right next to each other. What could go wrong? I don't know. All right. So I've been streaming for an hour and I need to go eat and do some things. So I think I might wrap it up. I'm not done. I'm going to keep this stream, or I'm going to keep this save for another stream and try to figure it out from there. But truly, give me 1 second. For those who have watched, thank you. To those who will watch otherwise, thank you for watching this. I've appreciated it.